Hello everyone, today in this video we'll fight against the advanced character of our world around us, and one thing that we can conclude for now from the Russian-Ukrainian conflict is that I said it long ago in one of my videos, that current conventional war between practically the Western equipment and Russian equipment, so equipment of BRICS countries and their satellites like North Korea, a conventional war with these equipments actually resembles to a large extent trench war, and both sides cannot for a long time defeat each other unless one side is completely exhausted, like now Ukrainian one, because they are missing people due to the fact that Ukrainian population was in the beginning of the conflict um, 4 times smaller than Russian one. That is why Russian side is pushing away Ukrainians from the front lines, slowly but systematically. What can we also conclude after more than 3 years of this conflict? We can conclude that thanks to this conflict and relatively miserable progress of Russian armed forces, Chinese People's Republic didn't attack or actually practically blockade by its naval forces the island of Taiwan. That's why we have our electronics still available for us without larger problems, because semiconductors are still being produced in Taiwanese factories. So we see that currently conflicts between strong players on the world map are not profitable for the big teddy bears of this world, because they are very often inconclusive. Even if they are conclusive after a long time, they are too costly. That is why some people put a lot of effort to finish this conflict, because it now brings no positive results anymore unless one works for military industry that is now having golden harvest from the budgets, state budgets of many countries of so-called Western world, geographically speaking. But other industries are not so happy, because they found their ways, of course, passing by sanctions, to come back to the Russian market or not to leave it, but they are already tired in doing that, and they would like to come back. The owners of these companies and their workers on the territory of Russia, for instance, they would like to come back to their business as usual. And as I said, world change, Russia mainly redirected some of their productions like fertilizers, agricultural production, and so on, grocery, into the markets of the BRICS countries, and they don't have to cry for the Western markets anymore, or not so much as it would be 10 years ago. That is why we see that the threat, as we all the time hear in the media, the threat of Third World War and the probability that it would start is not as huge as we may think, because no one from the most powerful players in the world currently sees it very profitable for his side. And this is good news at the end of the day from this analysis. We have to also conclude that currently it's not so easy to find recruits to fight on the battlefield, because societies are degraded, are spoiled by prosperity, and young people in many countries, not only in Europe but also in Asian countries that are technologically developed, are not so numerous and very spoiled, and they are not so eager to die massively on the battlefields. If not, numerous minorities and population from the almost desolated desolated rural area in Russia, Russia wouldn't have enough recruit to wage this war for so long. These are very interesting socio-economic observations. All the best, have a nice day, bye.